To learn about the off-grid lifestyle and to be inspired to live your dreams, click subscribe so you don't miss anything. Hit the bell notification. So, even though I was lied to today and destroyed about half my morning, well, 3/4 of my morning, I was still able to salvage a little bit of it. First of all, I want to apologize for my appearance. Pretty hot and sweaty, simply because I had to come out here in the midday heat. Of course, it's not as hot as it was in July, but it's still, you know, in the 80s. So I apologize. I'm glad that I came out here before I made this video because I was really upset a little while ago. I'm going to explain all that in a little bit, but I want to tell you what I did today. As you know, 3 days ago, I guess, I came down here and showed you this tree. It's a huge, massive tree. And it's in the city park down here, just down the road from us. We live in an unincorporated town. Well, this town, I should say, is unincorporated. We live outside the town. It used to be incorporated, so they had this huge city park. It's huge. And you can see that it's maintained. So the townspeople come around and they maintain it. It took me forever to find out if I could actually have this tree. I didn't know who to call. And finally I asked the guy on the lawnmower. He said, "Oh no, take it." He said, "If I was younger, I'd cut it." Then I asked somebody else at the gas station who lives in this town. She's lived here all her life. And she said, "No, my husband used to cut those trees down, but he hurt his shoulder a while back. No, we'd appreciate it if you take it." So look at this beautiful oak tree. It's got to be a century old, if not older. It's huge. I mean, one limb is as big as some trees. What I do is I come down and I cut 1 tank full of gasoline in my chainsaw. Once the chainsaw runs out of gas, I stop and load up the truck. Then I got to unload and split the wood. And the reason I do that is it's safer. And besides that, it gives me 1 load of wood. This particular tank of gas gave me actually a bigger load than last time. This one's kind of a heaping load. Last one was kind of a level load. And I just throw them in. Carolyn stacks them. And she can get a lot more in. I'm okay with the stacking. I just got to drive slower because it's a lot more weight. Loosely stacked like this, it's not quite as much weight. The truck handles it better. It doesn't matter. 6 one way, half dozen other. The other thing is I want to make sure that I take everything I cut. I said this in the last video. I'm not cutting this every day. Normally, I would come down every day and cut it until it was gone. But I'm giving the townspeople an opportunity to come and get it if they want it. They see me cutting now, people driving by waving. So if they want to come down and get their share, I'm all for that. I want to make sure that the whole town gets whatever they want from this. But on the other hand, I don't want to cut and leave it here on the ground so somebody can come and pick it up. Like, it's free. I mean, there's labor involved. Fuel, chainsaw wear and tear, maintenance, the whole deal. This is our second full load. I did a partial load, but it was a rainy day that day, and I only got maybe 10 minutes into it and just downpoured, and I didn't want to get stuck. And that's the other thing. I planned on coming down here this fall and getting this tree, but I was afraid it would rain too much, so get it while it's dry. But I tell you, being by myself and working by myself, I mean, with Carolyn, of course. I mean, if Carolyn's here, I'm fine with Carolyn. It sure does relax me. See, I planned on coming down every 3 days. That was my plan. Again, so the townspeople have an opportunity to get it. Well, today was the third day, so I was going to come down at 7 o'clock in the morning, start my cutting when it was nice and cool, wouldn't have to worry about heat stroke. And I tell you, out here in this heat, your heart starts beating faster, you breathe heavier. It's kind of incredible how big of a difference working 3 days ago at 7 o'clock in the morning and working today at 11 o'clock in the morning. I mean, I'm physically more tired today than I was. But Carolyn found some 2x4s. They were oak. And we thought that would be perfect for our rafters on our tiny house. Now, the reason we didn't get pine, I mean, if we could get pine, we would. But the hardware store and the Home Depot and Lowe's, either they're sold out or they're selling it really expensive. Well, this guy had 80 boards, 2x4s, 8 foot long, for 280 bucks. So it was like $3.50 a board, which was still cheaper than what Home Depot was selling pine boards for. And I thought, man, this is perfect. I could start making my rafters right now, because the rafters are going to be kind of hard, labor intensive, a lot of angle cuts. I was going to make them now, and then I was going to come back, build the walls later. I thought this is perfect. So I decided, okay, I'm not going to cut wood today, although I was quite disappointed about that. My personality, once I have a plan, I got to stick with the plan. It's hard for me to change plans, but that's okay. I mean, it was so cheap. The lumber took priority. So Carolyn contacted him and said, we'll be over there tomorrow at 9 o'clock. Well, the ATM only allows me to get $200 at a pop. So last night I got out 200, and this morning I got out 100, you know, after the bank closed and before the bank opened. So we drove, I don't know, 2 hours, I think. And we got there, knocked on the door, nobody's home. So this guy pulls up in behind me and says, is he home? I said, I don't know. I said, we have an appointment to be here at 9 o'clock. He says, yeah, I know. I'll give him a call. So he called him, and the guy comes rolling out of bed and answers the front door. Yeah, what do you want? I said, yeah, my wife contacted you yesterday about the 2x4s. He says, I sold those. I said, what? I said, we contacted you last night, said we'd be here at 9 o'clock. Yeah, but I got somebody to get it this morning before you got here. I changed the listing to sold. Why didn't you look? I said, I've been on the road for 2 hours to get here. You could at least let us know while we were on the road. I mean, if you sold it at 7 o'clock, we were just getting on the road at that time. I could have turned around and went back home. Well, that's not my problem. Maybe you should, he said, maybe you should do your homework before you get started on something. I said, I made an appointment with you, told you we'd be here at 9 o'clock. I don't care. And I just don't understand what is going on with our society. This happens over and over and over again with me. Usually when you get on Facebook, you see a listing, you contact the guy will say, oh, it's pending. And sometimes they'll even put pending on the post. I think you can change it to pending or sold or whatever. And if it's pending, then you know to keep an eye on it. If the guy says, oh, never mind, I don't want it, he can sell it to the next guy. I contacted one person one time. He says, you're the third person that's contacted me. I'll let you know if they don't come and get it. Okay, no problem. And this guy, that guy in particular said, he says, yeah, I wanted to let you know that the guy did come and get it. And I said, okay, thanks. And so no gain, no loss, everything was perfect. I don't understand why society is getting to the point more and more where it's all about themselves. They don't have any respect for the other person anymore. And that's why I love this community so much. Everybody's friendly, everybody helps out, everybody leaves you alone, but if you need something, they'll come and help you. I've said many times that the only time I ever get angry is when I have to deal with people trying to find somebody to contact about this. The woman told me to lie to anybody who questioned me about this. She wasn't in charge of this place. You know, I called the county, and she said, I don't know who does that, but just tell them the county sent you. And I said, can I give them your name? Oh, no, I'm not giving you permission. But nobody's going to care if you take it. And I thought, you know, you want me to lie that I have permission from somebody who doesn't even have the authority to give permission. But I do find peace on my piece of property. Me and Carolyn, not being disturbed by anything, in a community that leaves you alone, but is nice. I mean, this is like Mayberry here. I mean, don't get me wrong, the houses are falling apart around here. It's a poor community, but nobody cares. Everybody's okay. Nobody gets anybody else's business around here. Well, I hope I can inspire you to find a little peace in your life. Thanks for watching.